Hey everybody, it is Rick. We have 8 movies to talk about. Unlike the last time where I had mostly stuff to talk to you about that I saw on physical media, this is a hodgepodge video, guys. We have 3 physical titles, but we have stuff from Hulu, HBO Max, Netflix, and even Starz to talk about. And I'll explain why I got Starz when I get to that movie. 8 titles to talk about. I'm also going to show you guys something in this video that I haven't even technically unboxed yet. This might be the only time I show it because honestly, I'm probably going to sell it. It is not going to stay on my shelf. So I might not even show it in an unboxing video. So for those of you who watch the reviews, the loyal gathering of the review watchers, you guys will probably see something that the unboxing people will never see. So I did own it. I will talk about it and then it will probably vanish from my collection forever. So the first title I watched was Yes Day. Yes, why am I not scooching this side? You should put the picture right over my face, Rick. Just put it right over it. So Yes Day. I watched this on Netflix. RJ and Bridget had both seen it. And I just had some downtime, the chance to watch just like a mindless movie. And I picked Yes Day because they had seen it. So basically, this movie is a family-friendly version of Yes Man, where Jennifer Garner had lots of fun, was very adventurous, started dating Edgar Oh my gosh, hi Rick. Started dating Edgar Ramirez. They would go out to like skydiving and stuff. They end up having a family, have kids. They start saying no to everything. So there's a thing going around supposedly where parents have a yes day for their kids where they have to say yes. There's rules in place. Like they can't say like, take me to Disney World. That's not how it works. But it's a fun family movie. Edgar Ramirez is fighting to be the cool dad where mom is like the stern one that always says no and is always mean. And the kids think she's mean and not fun. So a fun watch, some supporting characters that were really good, played by Nat Faxon and Fortune Feimster, which is fun because I went and saw her live like the day after, the night of watching this. It was pretty cool how it worked out. My issue with it was the amount of physical damage that these kids did to their parents in this one day. I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's a lot of money that would have to be spent to fix all this stuff. These kids would never have another Yes Day again. I don't care if it gets the family closer together or not. But obviously in a family-friendly movie, that's kind of what they do. It's why kids enjoy the kind of stuff. It's just a movie, right? Drives me up a wall, but it's just a movie. I gave Yes Day a 2.5 out of 5. A fun movie for sure. Next up is that super secret title I teased in the beginning. One that I got from my Facebook guy. Personally, a one-time watch for me, just like the first movie. Well, I watched the first movie 2 times because my girlfriend had never seen it. But they do a good job with these, especially for PG-13, and it is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So the first Escape Room actually grew on me on a rewatch. A well-done PG-13, like horror, but more like a suspense thriller movie. Where basically there's escape rooms and people are really getting killed. So, like I said, these movies are geared towards the teenage demographic, in all honesty. Like the 13 to 17-year-olds, I think are probably 13 to 16-year-olds are where these movies, I think, are focused towards, personally. This movie actually improves on the first movie to an extent, in my opinion. Starts off where the original begins, and weirdly there's like a 3-minute recap of the first movie at the beginning, which is weird considering this movie's only 88 minutes long. Like, I guess they added that so it would stretch to an hour and 25 minutes with, trailers or with credits. But as the movie went on, I see why they did a recap, because if you didn't see the first movie, there would be stuff that happens in this that you would be like, okay, like what's that? What's going on here? So they tie together. I was a bit annoyed at a few of the things that happened because of the convenience factor, but it's a PG-13 psychological thriller, so what do I expect? But then we popped on the extended cut because, as you can see here, let's see. Come on. Come on, Rick. Focus. Game Master Exposed and Extended Cut includes alternate beginning and ending. So sure enough, we put it on. It's an entirely different movie. I mean, the core of the movie is the same, but they changed so much with this new beginning and ending that it is a totally different movie. It plays out very differently, which was kind of crazy. Kind of cool for a Blu-ray to do that. But I actually liked that they went with the theatrical version because it allows... Yeah, I like that they went with the theatrical version. I don't like that the extended version... I like that the extended version will be on Blu-ray and people can see it, but it changes the movie, and I don't think it changes the movie for a better. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching the extended version after you watch this version, like the regular version, but I like the regular version better. The extended cut was also incredibly heavy-handed in what it does, so I didn't like that. But Escape Room Tournament of Champions, I gave a 3 out of 5 to. A fun watch. Honestly, a one-time watch for me. Like I said, wanted to show this off in a video, talk about it. It'll be leaving my shelf, so I probably won't even show this in a pickup video because I'm not recording a Facebook pickup video today, so I'm not going to hold on to this for like another month when I can just sell it. So, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, 3 out of 5. Next up, let's see here. I watched the documentary on HBO Max, which Bridget had already seen, but it looked interesting to me. It was called Fake Famous. So the documentary is basically a look at a social experiment involving influencers, specifically on Instagram. The filmmaker interviews a bunch of people and decides to take 3 people, and through buying followers and likes and paying for like photo shoots and renting houses and things, how it affects the 3 subjects in question, how it affects their following, if they can get stuff sent to them because they're influencers. It's definitely an interesting look at today's celebrity, and I really mean the celebrity part, because people who think they're famous through the internet, it's kind of ridiculous to me, but I guess I get it. So people who are internet famous for posting photos and videos from vacation spots, glamorous houses, lavish cars, is everything like real? Is everything as you see it? And this movie investigates that, and it's really interesting. A very fascinating look at how the life works, how the influencer lifestyle works, and how it changes the 3 subjects that are the topics of this movie. Was really interesting because it takes all 3 in a different direction, which is cool. Definitely an interesting watch. One I would check out if you have HBO Max. It's called Fake Famous. Definitely recommend it. It is a 3 out of 5 for me. Very interesting look at today's celebrity and the influencer lifestyle. So next up, so I signed up for Starz. They had a special $2.99 for 3 months at Starz, and there was one reason, and that was so I could watch the TV show Heels, which stars Stephen Amell. It also has my boy CM Punk in it. I've had this channel now for a month and 3 weeks. I have not watched a single episode of the show. I have 1 more month left to watch it. It's only 8 episodes, so I want to watch it because I'm going to cancel it at the end of that. But I figured, why not see what else is on there? And there was a movie that Jacob and Crazy Joe talked about on their 30 days of the Dog Days of Podcasting, where they did a bunch of retro reviews. Crazy Joe loved this movie. Jacob wasn't a fan. It's a comedy. I needed something stupid to watch, so I put it on, and that is DC Cab. Joel Schumacher's second film that he ever made, right before he did a couple little films called St. Elmo's Fire and The Lost Boys. A comedy about a ragtag group who are the DC Cab Company in Washington, D.C., who's feuding with a rival cab company in Emerald. And the movie has a lot of weird and obscure humor in it. Some 38 years later, a lot of it falls very flat, in my opinion. And this is coming from a guy who loves comedy. There's also humor that doesn't fly anymore. That doesn't surprise me. Some of my favorite movies, Revenge of the Nerds. There's a lot of stuff in those movies that just don't work anymore in this PC culture we live in, the cancel culture, sadly, that we're involved with. There's a twist halfway through the movie that was kind of like a pleasant surprise as it made. I mean, I was watching this and like 20 minutes in, I was like, this is atrocious. Like, Crazy Joe has the worst taste in movies. First it was The Big Hit, and now it is this. I was like, this is going to be a half-star film. But there's a twist that occurs like halfway through, which kind of like put new life into the movie and made it watchable for the rest of the film. But overall, didn't find this movie to be funny at all, honestly. Didn't laugh a single bit. And just, it was okay. I mean, like I said, the twist that happens at the halfway point helps keep me interested. I will never watch this again, though. Zero interest. DC Cab Kindly, from me, gets a 2 out of 5. I think that is pretty fair. Like I said, the twist really saves this movie from being a like dumpster fire candidate of all time. So, DC Cab, 2 out of 5. Need to watch Heels. Get on it, Rick. Next up was a movie that we watched on Blu-ray from our spooky movie list. One I had never seen, one Bridget had seen, and that is Sleepy Hollow, starring Christina Ricci and this chucklehead right here, who you guys know I have a very love and hate relationship with. I love to hate him. But you know what? He has been in stuff that I have enjoyed. He's been in Blow. He's been in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Edward Scissorhands, he's very good in. So I've heard really good things about this. Bridget really wanted to see this, rewatch it. So I had skipped down this movie for a long time. Not a big Johnny Depp fan. I honestly thought this was just like a gothic love story, which is why I avoided it for so long. But it's a really creepy, like, gothic tale film about the legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman. You know, he's out for some heads. Oh, dad joke. So Johnny Depp was actually really enjoyable in this flick. You know, he's a person who's scared easily, but he's also trying to track down the Headless Horseman. He plays Ichabod Crane, obviously, but he's like a little goofy and has this like offsetting humor with him, and it actually made me laugh multiple times throughout the movie. His character was actually pretty funny in this. Like I said, the first 45 minutes, I laughed out loud multiple times. And it was just that, like, Johnny Depp's acting, but it was the way he was portraying the character, which was fun. I was extremely tired during the first watch of this movie. Bridget thought I hated it because I fell asleep basically the last half an hour. But I was just very exhausted. So much so that the following day, I went and I rewatched the last half an hour, like first thing in the morning. And it's not a knock on the film because, like I said, I really enjoyed what I saw and then went back right away to revisit what I slept through. But this gets a 3.5 out of 5. So that means that I'm getting rid of this, but I'm going to keep that really cool silver version I showed off in a video before. That will replace this version. I'm going to keep that one. And this will be sold because I like the other version better. I think it's a cool case. So I like the movie. It's making the shelf technically, but I'm getting rid of this version. I'm keeping the cool silver version. So yeah, Sleepy Hollow, 3.5 out of 5. Next up was a movie on Hulu I watched called She Dies Tomorrow. So this movie was absolutely bizarre. Like I said, watched it on Hulu. Tells the story of a woman named Amy who basically thinks she's going to die the next day. And so then she tells her friend that she's going to die the next day, and her friend says she can't hear her. It's all muffled and weird. But then you find out that the idea of telling someone that you're going to die tomorrow is contagious, and it's like a deadly situation. So you tell somebody and then they tell people and everybody thinks they're going to die the following day. So yeah, it's a comedy. Just kidding. It is not a comedy, but it can be viewed on as a character study or a study on people who have mental illness in a way. There's an ambiguous ending in the movie, which is very frustrating. And the movie is just a really weird watch. There's stuff involving a kid in the movie that really bothers me, that I didn't think added to the story and just kind of angered me watching it. A one-time watch, something I can't recommend, honestly. I can't suggest this for anybody. She Dies Tomorrow gets a 2 out of 5. I must have been really feeling nice when I was reviewing this in DC Cab, because the way I'm talking about them, you'd think they're like 1s or 1.5s, but I give it a 2. Like I said, the ambiguous ending really disappointed me, and what they do involving a kid just kind of frustrated me as well. So next up was another HBO Max documentary. This one is called Student Athlete, which is a look at the college athlete and how they're unpaid. Obviously, this movie is like a year or two old now, so the rules for the NCAA have changed a bit since this movie was made. But it talks about how the colleges make billions of dollars on these programs through TV rights and through selling likenesses and everything. Coaches are making millions of dollars a year, and then it talks about like how student athletes are working just to like kind of make ends meet, kind of just to pay their rent in a place. They're working like a job at 4 in the morning till like 10, and then going to class, and then doing sports, and then working another job, and then working a part-time job on the weekends just to make, ends meet. While trying not to give up on their dream of becoming a professional athlete. That's such a small percentage of student athletes do. They put all their eggs in the basket, and what happens to them after they leave college. It also shows how one student who was at a smaller school was given money basically for food and like a bed to sleep on. And that was like, he was a friend of his family, was like, here's money for food and stuff. And he ended up being determined ineligible, was possibly a NFL prospect, and basically became ineligible for his junior and senior years, I believe. And then they said how if he was at a bigger school, that wouldn't have happened that way. Like, they would have kind of rewritten that to basically so the star athlete could make more money for the school. So it was very interesting. If you're not into sports, if you're not into college sports or sports in general with a main focus on basketball and football, you're not going to really like this. It's not going to be geared towards you. Like I said, it talks a lot about how people don't prepare for life after sports, especially college kids. Not giving up on your dreams in a way. So I gave Student Athlete a 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it. It was a really good documentary about the student athlete life, and what happens and whatnot, and how the whole system's manipulated basically by money. Big surprise. But with that being said, time for the last movie that I watched this week to talk about. Number 8 this week that I checked out, and that is Let Me In on Blu-ray, which stars Chloe Grace Moretz and Cody Smith-McPhee. Yeah, I was up super early this morning. I took my car to get an oil change, and my tires rotated, and I left at 6:30 this morning. So, a little tired. Shouldn't have yawned on camera, but apologies. We're doing it live. So, I went into this movie really expecting more of a vampire film and less of a love story. And this movie was really like a coming-of-age love story, more so than I really honestly was expecting. It also has, this version has this really cool comic book it came with. I got this from Pam at the Video Game Movie Dome. There's the cover. It has the really cool slipcover, which kind of puts it all together, because you can see her face now. So, like I said, this movie focuses more on adolescence and young love. A lot slower than I anticipated, but crafts a very creepy story entangled with like young love so very well. Like I said, Cody Smith-McPhee and Chloe Grace Moretz are both fantastic as the two leads. Richard Jenkins is also very good in a supporting role in this movie. The bullies in this film are just awful. You despise them the entire film and hope they get their comeuppance. Spoiler alert for a 10-year-old movie. They get their comeuppance. And so you're kind of like, yay, when they get theirs, because, man, you are rooting against them the whole movie. So I give Let Me In a 3.5 out of 5. I've never seen the original version, which I believe is Swedish, I think. Let the Right One In. I don't know if I would really have interest in checking that one out. I did enjoy this one. Definitely one. I don't know if I would necessarily revisit it. I'm not 100% sure if this will stay on the shelf, but it was definitely a good movie. I give it 3.5 out of 5 too. So Let Me In. That is it, guys. That is everything that we checked out week number 2 in October. So thank you guys for watching. As always, let me know in the comments, what have you guys been watching this past week? Let me know what you thought of my reviews. Leave the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you don't do so already. Also, be sure to check out my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Links down below in the description, as well as links to my Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies that I watch, Blu-ray.com profile, Amazon wishlist, eBay store, P.O. Box, email address, all can be found down below. That is it, guys. So as always, my voice is starting to go. I've only recorded 3 videos. As always, until next time, who's down to movie?